Assalamualaikum and a pleasant afternoon to all of us. Today I'm going to discuss the article Ethics in Research with Vulnerable Populations and Emerging Countries, the Golden Rice Case. So this article has 8 sections that I will go through. First is the introduction, which introduces the Golden Rice Case, which was an experiment designed to study the effects of genetically modified rice on children and was conducted in a primary school in China. In the aftermath of the study, disputes arose. Because of it, the case serves as an excellent example of the ethical issues associated with research conducted in emerging countries, as well as the necessity of protecting vulnerable study populations. In part 2, this article begins by providing background information about research in emerging countries. Research in emerging countries is becoming a big business. Therefore, many ethical issues related to clinical research in emerging countries need to be discussed and analyzed. In the third part, it reviews the worldwide ethical principles for research with human subjects. In addition to the fundamental ethical principles of beneficence and non-maleficence, there are three basic principles that govern research conducted with human subjects. First, respect for autonomy to choose or refuse to become involved in the research, equity, such as equitable distribution or and equitable access to research, and dignity of the subject, regardless of his or her health status. It also discussed sets of guidelines regarding medical research, which includes the Declaration of Helsinki, which has a goal to promote and safeguard the health of patients, including those who are involved in medical research subject. Council for International Organizations of Medical Sciences, which have guidelines that relate expressly to vulnerable populations in emerging countries, and United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, which promotes the same values and recommendations as the two mentioned by means of its Universal Declaration on Bioethics and Human Rights. Part 4. This section discusses European guidelines and regulations as well as US laws and regulations and explains the basis for applying them to research conducted in other countries. Relevant provisions of Chinese laws and regulations are also discussed with specific recommendations for reform. Part 5 presents the details of the Golden Rice experiment, including the factual background and the disputes about issues of fact. This part of the section discussed about how the study was approved to be conducted. However, use of golden rice was not clearly mentioned nor seeking ethical approval for the trial in Hunan, which led to investigations and criticisms on the study. There are four categories of factual disputes. First, facts about the process for approval of the research were in dispute because there was one researcher who faked the documents for approval. Second, facts about informed consent by the parents because there were reports indicating that parents did not know their children were eating genetically modified rice and were not informed about any potential risks of genetically modified food. Third, facts about the amount of golden rice eaten by the children, as there was an investigation that revealed that the children ate golden rice just once during the study, which was supposed to be 3 weeks, as the published article says. Fourth, facts about the role of the Chinese researchers, as some researchers variously denied involvement in the study. Part 6 analyzes the ethical issues present in the Golden Rice case. First is the process for approval, as there were no specified dates about the approval and no specific information about the members of the ethics committees who approved the study. Second, risks and benefits, as there were misunderstanding about the amount of golden rice eaten by the children. And third, informed consent, as parents were not clearly informed about the genetically modified food and its risks. The lack of informed consent was one of the grounds on which Greenpeace and others raised ethical objections to this research. Even considering the other ethical values that must be considered, the conclusion remains the same as performing this type of research on human subjects without consent is unethical. Part 7 applies the lessons of the Golden Rice experiment to make specific recommendations for research reform, like adopting the method of risk or benefit evaluation used by the US and urging that the ethical review system be reorganized to follow the administrative mode. And Part 8 concludes the study with the Golden Rice case, shedding light upon certain issues that may arise when conducting research in emerging countries, and as a practical matter, demonstrates certain ways in which researchers, regulators, and review committees can develop mechanisms to prevent similar problems in the future. So, is the golden rice the future of farming? We can't really say that this would be the future of farming, as there are several factors that complicates the golden rice, as there is a widespread opposition to GMOs. Although it has the potential to make a significant contribution to public health, it will need to overcome its political, economic, and social barriers. That's all. Thank you.